Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Cashing Out right here on VSiN, the sports betting network, and we've got 3 tremendous hours coming up for you. As first things first, we've got things very much hanging in the balance between the OKC Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Feels like neither team is making a stop right now, so we are going to be diving in on that, and then we're going to be joined by a pair of great guests here throughout the show, as we're going to be joined by Dana Lane in about 30 minutes. Does an absolutely tremendous job on the hockey front. We did see the Carolina Panthers be able to extend to a Game 5, so you know what, we've got a lot of that to be able to discuss, and the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes, they snap a 15-game Eastern Conference Finals losing streak. So good on them. Will they be able to make it 2 in a row? We shall see, and we'll talk to Dana about that in about 30 minutes. And then a little bit over an hour from now, I know that she's been joining us pretty much every week. Michaela Bennett does an absolutely tremendous job on the diamond, as I am filling in for Joe Soralla, and I know that she's been doing a tremendous job in terms of a lot of her player props. We're going to be talking with her about that and so much more, as we've got all 30 teams in Major League Baseball in action on Tuesday. So how about if we do dive in on what we're getting right now out there in Minnesota? Right now, it's the Thunder up by a count of 118 to 114. Just when you think that this game has stopped in terms of scoring, it just continues. And right now, this live total is a 245.5. Just absolutely ridiculous what we've been seeing out there. This is a very correlated, shall we say, handicap. If you think that this game might be going to overtime, honestly, the over is a relatively good play. If you think that things might slow down, you might be looking at an under 120 to 114 now. Like, these teams are taking absolutely no time off the shot clock. They're just scoring at will at this point. I mean, it's absolutely wild what we've seen. Right now on your live line, the Minnesota Timberwolves are getting 5.5. That's at a minus 135, though, and personally, yep, and it's 120 to 116. These teams are just going back and forth, back and forth. This is just absolutely wild what we've seen. And I mean, what makes this even more crazy is that the stars for the Minnesota Timberwolves are not having the world's greatest night. Like, right now, your top scorer is Dante DiVincenzo, who's been able to give you 21 points. You've had a relative nothing burger in terms of scoring from Anthony Edwards. He's been able to give you a little bit in terms of other things, but I mean, he's right now giving you 15 points. He's been a little bit more of a facilitator rather than anything else. Julius Randle has 5 points more than Greg Peterson as of right now, and somehow, some way, we've got what we've got. It's now 123 to 118. You just saw both of these teams go down and be able to score at will. Yeah, this has been wild to say the least. So I was saying that the 245.5 might be a little bit correlated. Now they're just going to keep scoring. So that's what we've got right now. That's where we stand in terms of this game. As right now, if you're taking a look at the live line, we've been seeing the Timberwolves throughout the last minute or so at a plus 5.5, still at a plus 5.5 as of right now. If I had to play anything right now, I would, but this is just a game where typically I love to be able to live bet these NBA playoff games. I just want no part of this one because of the volatility of it. Like, nobody's making a stop here whatsoever. Both of these teams are just finding a way to execute, and now for the OKC Thunder, they were able to just dig in. They were able to burn some clocks, so that's big for them just to be able to get a little bit of something held down. 123 to 118 is right now the score, 35 seconds remaining, so for the OKC Thunder, in relatively good shape. I will say this, though. Haven't we seen this all playoff long, like with the fact that the Indiana Pacers have already come back from down 7 points within the final 45 seconds 3 times, and we have seen some magic just happen in these playoffs in general. So, I mean, if you had to do anything, I personally would just take the points here, but you know what? We shall see how this plays out, and we'll see what we're going to be getting moving forward, as right now they're reviewing what looked like block from Chet Holmgren. That looked like a clean block right there on Jaden McDaniels, but right now with this OKC Thunder bunch, they've just been able to do a really nice job going out there, being able to execute their stuff. Now they've got the ball back with about 35 seconds remaining, and you have to think that this is going to be foul mode here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, you don't foul as much in the NBA as you would in college, but I think that this is a very clear situation. If you've got anyone that's shooting less than 80% the free throw line, yak them right away. You see what you're able to get, and That's a steal. The Minnesota Timberwolves generate a steal. That's a 3, and it's out 123 to 121. Yeah, that is just absolutely wild. And the Timberwolves miss their first 3, and then they get the putback. 23 seconds remaining, 123 to 121. All OKC Thunder needed to do was inbound the ball, and this game was over. They were unable to do so. Here we go. 15 seconds remaining. Now, if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's all about who do you foul, and it looks like they foul Shea. So we're going to be seeing what they get there at the free throw line, and the OKC Thunder should be able to put this game away at the free throw line, but you still have 15 seconds remaining. Even if they hit both of these free throws, you've still got yourself a little bit of time to be able to utilize here. Right now, that live line for the Timberwolves, you're able to get it at a plus 3.5 at a minus 115. Again, just taking the points on the underdog live in these entire playoffs. It has been panning out for you really, really well, as this is cashing out right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're looking at this wild Thunder versus Timberwolves game, 125 to 121 right now. Again, I will continue to say it. Nobody is getting a stop right now. Sans when the Minnesota Timberwolves really, really needed that stop, being able to generate the turnover to be able to turn this into a one-possession game for the Thunder right now. They're 16 of 37 from 3, and this is with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only going about 2 of 7 from 3-point range. You still had a monster game, 37 points, but how about this man in Jalen Williams and the way that he's been able to step up? 34 big points out of him. He's a big reason why the OKC Thunder are where they are right now, so I'm going to be gauging that. And then for the Minnesota Timberwolves, the only reason why they're in this game, because Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle combined 20 points. How about what they've gotten off the bench? Like right now in terms of their bench production, I'm going to try to do the mental math in my head here because I don't want to get this one wrong. 61 points. They've got 61 points off the bench here tonight. 60 points from their starters. Like they always have the old adage of the role players play a little bit better when they're at home. Yeah, the role players are playing really well. Even Terrence Shannon off the bench in 8 minutes, he's been able to give this team 9 points. Naz Reid has been able to come up with some good moments. Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a combined 44 points. This has been an insane game from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and for the Timberwolves, they now take a full timeout. We've got 14 seconds remaining. They're currently down 125 to 121. This is a massively critical possession for them, and they're going to need to just find a way to be able to get points. This is one of those where they always have the old broadcaster saying, oh, you don't need a 3 and everything like that. Yep, this one applies here. They just need to find a way to be able to get some sort of production, and the last entire quarter, there has been absolutely no stops made whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we're up to 71 total points here in the fourth quarter. The Timberwolves have outscored the Thunder here in the fourth quarter, 36 to 35. Just absolutely insane what we've seen here. And now we've got a whole bunch of shots going up. Rudy Gobert, he misses once, he misses twice, third time's a charm. We've got 125, 123, a little bit over 9 seconds remaining, and now the OKC Thunder are going to be taking their full timeout. If you've been doing nothing but like a lightning betting the over in this game, you have been doing really, really well, because none of these teams have any idea how to be able to get anything going on defense, and quite frankly, both of these teams are hot. Like every time Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has taken a mid-range shot, it has went down. Every single time the Minnesota Timberwolves have missed a shot, Rudy Gobert has been there for an offensive rebound, as he just had 3 on that possession alone. And for the Timberwolves, by the way, right now, 19 offensive rebounds, actually for both teams. I was thinking, I'm seeing 19 for one team. Nope, both of these teams, 19 offensive rebounds. So even when the first shot is missed, the second shot has been going down. Both of these teams shooting 43+% from 3-point range. We've got 125, 123. We've got 9.9 seconds remaining. This has turned out to be a little bit better than what we saw in terms of the NHL game, which, if you missed that, the Carolina Hurricanes, ding dong, the witches said they finally were able to get a win in the Eastern Conference Finals, 3-0. They were able to pull away in the third period, and that's something that you do want to note as well. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the Mona Lisa Vito of NHL handicapping or anything like that, but what I've been able to gauge, more than 2/3 of these games in the NHL playoffs have been decided by 2+ goals. So even if you like the underdog, being able to get that alternate puck line has been playing very, very well for you. The Hurricanes, they do find a way to be able to get it done, and for the Florida Panthers, now they're going to have to head back to Carolina, where Carolina, I've noted this throughout the entirety of the playoffs, probably the biggest home and road splits that you're going to find in all of hockey. So that's very much a lot of fun there, and this is also a lot of fun. You've got the Thunder and the Timberwolves. 9.9 seconds remaining. Thunder looking to be able to inbound the ball, which last time they were in this circumstance, they were unable to inbound the ball, and that led to a turnover, and that led to a three by the Minnesota Timberwolves. This time around, it looks like it's going to be another timeout. So the OKC Thunder, they decide to not roll the dice, but that is their final timeout. So if they are unable to inbound the ball again, then you're going to be looking at a violation, and then you're going to be looking at the Timberwolves ball trying to be able to tie or be able to win this game. And for the Thunder, they're out of everything that's happening right now, because these offenses have been unstoppable, except for the fact that the Thunder can't inbound the ball. Like, I will never understand this. Like we saw back when we had the Final Four between Duke and Houston, the reason why Duke completely peed down their leg is because they couldn't inbound the basketball. Like, I find this to be absolutely mind-blowing as someone who retired from basketball at the age of 14 due to a lack of talent, that these guys can't inbound the ball. Like, even I knew how to do that, and yeah, I retired due to a lack of talent. So there's that aspect of things. But right now you got 125, 123, 10 seconds remaining. Thunder out of timeouts, needs to be able to inbound this ball. Live total, by the way, 252.5. So that tells you right there where we're at, and I think that's very interesting to be able to dive in on, because I would think that this would be an interesting sort of scenario, because if the OKC Thunder get fouled and they hit both free throws, then you have to think that they're probably going to just let the Timberwolves be able to take a three, something like that. I wouldn't think that you get an intentional foul there. So I do think that that's a little bit interesting. If I really had to play that, I'd be taking a look at the under, but that's something that you don't want to mess around with. When you get into this juncture of the game, it's sort of just trying to see, all right, are we going to get overtime, or is this thing going to wrap up in regulation? As the Thunder, they are going to be heading to the free throw line. It is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who does make it to the free throw line, and he does make the first free throw. So we're going to see how the second one goes. 126, 123. 8.8 seconds remaining. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been down all night, but you know what? They are not done yet. We are going to see if they're going to be able to pull this game out, or if we get some sort of conclusion. We're going to have that on the flip side right here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're back here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, and you can't cash out your bets yet on the Thunder versus Timberwolves game, because this game feels like its final 2 minutes is probably going to be about 2 hours long. Right now, it is 126 to 125. Timberwolves down by 1 point, 7.2 seconds remaining, and for the OKC Thunder, they have had all sorts of issues being able to inbound the ball. They get it in on this one. It's going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going to the free throw line. 6.1 seconds remaining, and now we play the foul game. And this is going to be very interesting to say the least. Whichever team misses first, that's going to allow for a little bit of an opening, because you have to think that if the Thunder are able to hit both of these free throws, then you intentionally foul the Minnesota Timberwolves. Don't let them be able to shoot that three, because we see it all the time in college basketball. When the team is allowed to be able to take a three to be able to tie it up, it doesn't matter if that guy is shooting 100 or 0% from three-point range for the entirety of the season. They can it every single time. So that's something that the OKC Thunder are going to need to do here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets the first free throw, so that makes it 127 to 125, and he's able to bury the second. 128, 125. We now have 4 seconds remaining on the clock. Right now, your live number is the Timberwolves. You're getting plus 3.5, but you're having a lay minus 315. So the juice is just completely out of control here. If you think that the Timberwolves are able to force overtime and are able to win this game, you're able to get 16 to 1 on the money line. Again, not something that I want to be messing around with whatsoever, considering the circumstances. And for the Timberwolves, going to the free throw line, 3.5 seconds remaining. So we are trading free throws at this point. It's going going to be Anthony Edwards who steps up to the free throw line. He's got the first one, so this is now 128 to 126, and both of these teams are out of timeout. So at the very least, we are not going to have the whole bunch of timeout game. Both of these teams have exhausted all of them, and that's something that you do want to be mindful of. The only reason why the Timberwolves are currently in this spot looked like the Thunder were going to be able to salt this game away. You had a turnover on the inbounds play, and that led to a whole bunch of hoopla and craziness. So we've got ourselves a very, very interesting scenario here, as you've got Edwards, who was able to hit the first, 128 to 126, and it looks like the second one is going to be offline, no good, and it's all about, does this ball get banged around or anything like that, and do the OKC Thunder corral it, be able to make sure that this game is all sorted away, as it is Edwards who misses the second free throw. We've got 1 second left on the clock. It is 128 to 126, and man, this is a game that is wild and crazy. And what else is wild and crazy is the fact that the NBA playoffs, they are heating up right about now, and ProfitX, they are our betting partner, and they help us out to be able to provide you with the best odds all postseason long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports betting exchange available in 40-plus states, where you're able to make your sports picks against other fans rather than the sports book. It is guaranteed to be able to give you the best odds by about 10 to 20% as well. You can also request your own odds. Download ProfitX today. Utilize that promo code of VSIN, VSIN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month, as we've got ourselves now a tenth of a second remaining, it looks like, because Anthony Edwards, he misses a second free throw intentionally, and then the Thunder were trying to throw the ball down the entirety of the length of the court to be able to kill the clock. It looks like it's touched, though, with 0.6 of a second remaining. I don't know if that was a fan. I don't know if that was a part of the coaching staff, what have you, but the Thunder were trying to kill the clock. They were unable to do so. I don't know if they could call like fan interference for them trying to grab the ball or what have you, but as of right now, the clock reads 1/10 of a second. They're trying to see how much time needs to go back onto the clock, and this is just turning into a wild game of hoopla right here between the OKC Thunder and the Timberwolves. Right now, it's 128 to 126. Obviously, this final whatever amount of time you get, very, very significant with regards to how the spread was playing as well, because this was a game in which it closed with the OKC Thunder being a 3-point favorite. So again, the thinness of the thin margins. This is why I always encourage that you take a look at live betting opportunities when it comes to the playoffs, because you could have gotten a much better number here on the Minnesota Timberwolves in game. For the OKC Thunder, they've been up throughout much of the night. You have been able to see this go below 3 at a few points here tonight, but certainly it's been a wild and crazy game to say the least. Now they're saying that there should be 0.3 of a second remaining on there. Like, when I was watching the replay, it looked more like 5 or 0.6 of a second remaining, but that is just enough time for a catch and shoot, and they're going to throw it up. Nope, there's going to be absolutely nothing doing, and the OKC Thunder, they do get the win. They're able to steal that inbounds, 128 to 126. Looked like they were trying to throw it to Rudy Gobert, and it came up short by like 20 feet. Like, that was not even close. They tried to throw it down for like an alley-oop or something like that. That did not have enough air on it. 128, 126. The OKC Thunder, they do find a way to persevere. They get the job done, and now they've got a convincing 3-1 series lead. And the big looming number in this one is 5. That is the amount of points that Julius Randle had for the Minnesota Timberwolves, by the way. Like, I mean, a really spirited effort out of them. They somehow cover this game, despite the fact that Julius Randle had 5 points. Anthony Edwards was held below 20 points. The entire bench just came up in pretty much Monstars fashion to be able to keep them in it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker with north of 20 points. Dante DiVincenzo with north of 20 points. Heck, Terrence Shannon had more points in this game than Julius Randle did, and he only played in 8 minutes. In 8 minutes, he had 9 points. So very wild what we've seen out there. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what we get in terms of an opener for Wednesday, because for the OKC Thunder, you have to think that they're going to be pretty sizable favorites here. If you're looking at what normal home court is, you would think that this opener would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of like an 8.5, 9 maybe, but that's a big giant question mark. We'll see what we get on that in the next few minutes, but OKC Thunder, they do get the job done by a count of 128-126. So good win for them. Not a cover, though, if you laid it with the OKC Thunder as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, by the way, 1 rebound shy of triple-double. 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. I'm not sure how many 40-point triple-doubles there have been in postseason history, but he came very, very close to having one. So that sums up what we've got out there, and we do have to alert you guys that we also do have a little bit of baseball that's going down as well. Right now, you're in the bottom of the 10th inning between the old Slam Diego Padres and the Miami Marlins, and for the San Diego Padres, they're currently up at bat, 2 outs in the 10th inning with Manny Machado having a chance to be able to put this game away. And right now, if you're looking out west as well, you've got the New York Yankees up on the LA Angels. This is one game that I did write up. I wrote up the run line of the New York Yankees. So far, so good. 4-1 in the 7th inning. And I know that I joined our good friend John Von Tobel on the program a little bit earlier today. And for this LA Angels team, there's just no rhyme or reason to this team. Like, they go on an 8-game win streak. They sweep the LA Dodgers on the road. They get another sweep of the A's, and then they lose a series to the Miami Marlins. You have Jack Conowitz, who I don't know why that guy is still getting starts. He gives up 4 runs over the course of 6 2/3 innings. Now you go to a bullpen that is currently dead last in the big leagues in terms of ERA, so lots of fun to be able to decipher there. And if you're looking on the baseball front as well, I do have to mention this. Like, I just can't go any further without it. Like, my soul just yearns to talk about how bad the Colorado Rockies are. Like, I don't know why I'm obsessed with it, but I always believe that in sports betting, you just take the profit that you got. Now, you're starting to pay heavy juice in terms of Colorado Rockies, so things are going to need to get very, very creative in ways to be able to fade this team. But sometimes you're still able to find some relatively good run lines, as for the Colorado Rockies, they are currently 9-45. They are currently on pace to lose 135 games. That is 14 more than the Chicago White Sox lost last season. And I thought that the Chicago White Sox were a skid mark on the underpants of baseball last year. Like, if they're a skid mark on the underpants of baseball, what does this make this Colorado Rockies team? Like, my gosh. I'm just still amazed as to how these guys are able to field a team. And there's always the debates of, should there be relegation with regards to professional sports or not? Obviously, the money involved and everything like that, that's probably not ever going to allow for it in terms of the continental United States. But if you're ever looking for an example of why we should have relegation in U.S. sports, Colorado Rockies, they are certainly delivering that. And here, allow me to put it into perspective how bad this start is. This is the worst start for any team through 54 games since not just the Ottoman Empire existed. It's the worst start since the Ottoman Empire both existed and would not fold for another 28 years. This is such a bad start that the first ever football game, American football game, had not been played yet. Like, that is a level of stinkitude that we are looking at for the Rockies. And if you're wondering, the worst 60-game start to a season ever, that would be by the St. Louis Browns. Yes, the St. Louis Browns, who went 11-49 in their first 60 games. The Rockies need to get 2 wins in their next 6 games to not tie that. Or if they get 2 wins, they tie it. They need 3 wins to be able to exceed it. Where do these 3 wins come from? Like, legitimately, where do these 3 wins come from? I have absolutely no idea, because currently they got the Chicago Cubs. That's just a whole bunch of L's right there. And for the Colorado Rockies, it's not like this is a schedule that's necessarily easing up moving forward. You should be able to get a little bit more of a chance when you face off against the Miami Marlins next week, but they've got out of their next, I believe, 10 games, 6 of them against the New York Mets. They have to play against the Giants. They have to play against the Braves. Yeah, this is rough to say the least. What is great, though, is being able to talk a little bit of hockey, and we're going to be doing so on the flip side right here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're back here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Great to be joined by this man on the Progressive Guest Line, as we've got Dan Lane aboard. He does a tremendous work over at PickDogs.com. He's one of the main handicappers over there, taking a look at a little hockey, taking a look at some baseball, and so much more. And Dana, great to get you aboard. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. I always love coming on, do a great show, and thank you for asking me to be part of it.
Absolutely. We always love talking with you because you do such a great job on the hockey front. And let's take a look at what we did see on this Memorial Day Monday as for the Carolina Hurricanes. I keep calling them the Carolina Panthers because you got the Panthers, you got Carolina, so that's happened to be quite a bit. But for the Hurricanes, they finally snap a 15-game losing streak in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the real question becomes, can they make it 2 in a row? Because the one thing that I've taken from the Hurricanes is that they've got some of the largest home and road splits that you're going to find of any team in hockey.
Yeah, and you could go back a long time for those home and road splits. I could point to plenty of playoff series in the past where, they won all their home games and, not so great on the road. But they did get a win tonight, and Rod Brind'Amour can sleep after putting a 1 in the goose egg column as far as winning in the Eastern Conference Finals. But it's interesting because I think Florida I think they took Carolina's best shot tonight, and they only lost this game, technically by a goal, excluding the couple empty netters. But it's a really good lesson for bettors because going into this game, the Panthers have outscored the Canes 16-4, and most people that I listen to will say, well, how could this be any different? Well, I think the one thing that we overlook as handicappers and as general bettors, I think we overlook the professionals that are behind the bench, and certainly between Paul Maurice and Rod Brind'Amour, Brind'Amour had a great game plan, and his ability to motivate his team. I think we really overlook coaching and their ability to put guys in the right place at the right time. But a great game tonight. We see this number come out on game 5 as low as minus $1.07, but Florida is a road favorite with a 5.5 under minus 25. So that will be interesting. I see the Sharps are already going to be pounding the Canes. So if you like Carolina, you might want to get on them now.
Yeah, but I think that it's so interesting to gauge this one as well because I know that you've been a big proponent of the puck line, and with just this game in general, right now we're seeing the puck line, if you want the alternate puck line with the Carolina Hurricanes, because in a lot of places they open up as a plus 1.5, if you're able to get them, you're able to get plus $2 on either way. And how much would you be taking a look at just whichever team you think is going to win, laying a puck and a half? Because I've been noting this all postseason long. These teams that have been winning these games more than 2/3 of the time, they've been winning it by multiple goals.
Always. I always do. I mean, we talked before the show that when we're talking about the NHL or Major League Baseball, when we're talking about moneyline sports, I always look to lay the 1.5 and get the plus money. I just think that's the play. We don't handicap these games to win by a goal or a run. We handicap these games because we think a team is considerably better than their opponent. So it makes sense to lay the 1.5 or the 1.5 runs and get the plus money. But I'll be doing that in the Dallas-Edmonton game because I think Edmonton's going to win that game, and you're going to give me plus $1.50. I'd be more than happy to take that.
Yep, absolutely. I think that that's a great way of being able to slice it, as we are being joined by Dana Lane. He does a tremendous job being able to gauge a great game of hockey. He does some great work on the baseball front as well. Joining me right here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. And Smarter Bets, they do start with VSiN Pro, and now's the time that you want to join in, because typically we charge $20 a month for a subscription, but if you jump in right now, we're going to shave $41 off that annual subscription fee, down from $240 to $199, and additionally, we're going to throw in there an extra 2 months. So you're going to get 14 months of VSiN for less than 50 cents a day. This includes all of our daily best bet emails with all of our VSiN shows and guest plays, the VSiN Watch app. You're able to get full access to it, betting splits from Circa and DraftKings, and so much more. Just go to VSiN.com/subscribe, type in the promo code PRO, P-R-O, and that'll save you $41 and get you an additional 2 months for free over at VSiN.com/subscribe. And Dana, how about if we do take a look at the game that we're going to be getting on Tuesday? Because with the Edmonton Oilers, they do find themselves as a favorite here, but you're alluding to it. You're not going to be looking at more of that money line with the Edmonton Oilers. You're going to be looking at the puck line, and right now we've got a total of 6.5, as this has been a much higher scoring series thus far than what we've been seeing out east. And how do you slice this one with the Edmonton Oilers, a team that I really like the way that the offense has been playing, and lone concern that I have is Stuart Skinner for them?
Yeah, it is interesting because, look, handicapping in the NHL, especially in the postseason, it's not anything that anybody can't do. All you have to do is watch the games. It breaks down to who you believe in as far as goaltending is concerned, which power play you think is better, and who has the biggest superstar. And right now, Edmonton checks those boxes. And it's funny because what was it, 2 series ago, where we were Edmonton Oilers fans were saying, hey, we really want Stuart Skinner out of there. We wanted Calvin Pickard in net. And hey, all of a sudden, nobody's saying that because Stuart Skinner has been absolutely fantastic. A couple things that I am a little bit worried about, and of course, Rupe Hintz was out in the previous game for Pete DeBoer's Dallas Stars team, which he's their number 1 center, which does affect them on the power play. So even though the Stars have remained scoreless with the man advantage over the last 2 games, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to equate with what they do in this upcoming game. I will be interested to see if Matthias Ekholm is going to return for the Edmonton Oilers. And of course, he's a guy that can come right in and give you 20 minutes and give them a lot of depth defensively. So that might counter that a little bit. And Ekholm is a guy, at least in his career, who has been terrific in the postseason. So the Dallas Stars might be getting a little bit healthier on their power play, and Edmonton will potentially get a little bit healthier on their D. But Ekholm coming back is a game time decision. I know he was on the ice the other day and said he couldn't go, so we'll see about that. But I still like Edmonton. I still love the way Connor McDavid is really carrying this team on his back. And I know it's so easy and cliche to say, well, your stars have to be your stars. But when they are, and you also have depth scoring and you have the goaltending advantage, which I think Skinner has right now over Ottinger, that's a tough go against if I like the other side.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the injury front in this game as well, because with the Dallas Stars, as we know, they've been mixing and matching all postseason long. Their toughest series was actually against the Colorado Avalanche because they were way down there. How much do you factor that in, the fact that this Dallas Stars team, they've had to utilize so many combinations due to all the injuries that they had coming into the playoffs?
Yeah, I factor that in quite a bit. One of my personal cliches is the bigger the name that is out, the more that it affects everybody else, and not because of the name or the quality of the player, just because of the shuffling that has to go on behind them. And yeah, we're kind of at the point of the year where everybody, at least in practice, has practiced with each other, different line combinations. But there is a game time cohesion that you have to take into account. And really, I mean, Dallas has shown a tremendous amount of depth, and I guess you can add depth onto that. My 3 rules in handicapping the postseason. Depth is great, but I think when you get at this level, it's not as big of a deal. You have those guys that are willing to block shots and get into passing lane, which we saw tonight from both teams. But I do think that injuries play a massive role, and which in a team's ability to find cohesion on the ice. And the bigger the name, the more shuffling has to go on behind them. So yes, certainly a factor there. Not as big of a factor as it would be in the regular season, just because I think at this point in the year, you have teams that no matter what the injury issues look like, everybody's played with everybody at this point.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the goaltending advantage that you feel like the Oilers have as well, because I think that this is a really interesting total of 6.5. Do you have enough faith in both Ottinger along with Stuart Skinner to be able to hold this one under? Because as we know, 2 high-flying teams with regards to their scoring, but I still feel like Jake Ottinger, even if he might not be as hot as he was towards the beginning part of the postseason, might be able to do enough to be able to keep this under.
Yeah, I think it's going to go under. I think 6.5 is a little bit much. I know Ottinger has been a little bit shaky. I've heard people already say, hey, maybe Ottinger is the one that we can't rely on. But I've been watching this guy quite a bit. I've watched him since he was a kid playing for Team USA, playing for the U18 team. I think I know Jake Ottinger pretty good. I know he's been a little bit shaky, but he's had a history of being able to bounce back. 6 goals the other night. Again, let's not lean on what we just saw. Let's assume that Ottinger is going to bounce back and have a better game 5. But when a goaltender is hot like Skinner is, now that's a streak that I continue with. So I continue with hot streaks, and I go against what I just saw as far as a cold streak is concerned, because I think these are professional players that easily bounce back mentally no matter how many goals they let up.
I think that's great advice, Dana, and always appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Great to be able to talk with Dana Lane, be able to break down what we're getting in the NHL playoffs. And coming up next, how about if we go from the ice to the diamond right here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're back here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. It was great to be joined by Dana Lane in the last segment, talking a little hockey, taking a look at what we're all getting in the NHL playoffs and what we're going to be seeing on Tuesday between the Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. So big thanks to him for joining me in the last segment, and we'll get to some baseball in a minute, but first things first, the openers are becoming a little bit more solidified in terms of game number 5 between the OKC Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. In a closeout spot, the OKC Thunder pretty much across the board are opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. Not really seeing even any variance with regards to total. It's pretty much 220.5 across the board. Now, I personally, if I had to play anything right now, I'd be looking at that under, just because I just don't think that we're going to see the hot shooting that we saw in game number 4. Quite literally, nobody could make a stop in the entirety of that fourth quarter, and I mean, that was a game that was going to be going over to start with, but in that fourth quarter, we saw 79 points scored. 79. Just absolutely wild what we got out there, because, I mean, in the first few quarters, you had a massive explosion in the first quarter where the OKC Thunder were able to get up 37-30, but then things normalized a little bit from there. You had a third quarter that was neither here nor there, and then in the fourth quarter, neither team was able to generate a stop to save their lives. Both of these teams shot north of 43% from three-point range, and I'd be banking on the Timberwolves getting a little bit more out of Julius Randle along with Anthony Edwards. Edwards had 16 points in this one, and then for Julius Randle, 5 more points than myself. Still, you just can't believe that he had that sort of an egg laid. Again, Terrence Shannon, who played 8 minutes in this game, had 9 points, and Julius Randle had 5. So that tells you all that you need to know right there. It wasn't necessarily his sharpest in this one. Personally, this is a game and just a playoff in general where you bet the team that's down, and typically it's been working out quite well for you. Even if you did so tonight with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the way that they got down early, you were able to get there on that front as well. So I do think that that's something to be mindful of and something to be gauging here in the postseason. Something else that I do want to be gauging is a little bit of playoff baseball, or a little bit of, shall we say, baseball in general. We are far, far away from the playoffs as of right now. We've got some playoff hockey, but right now with the New York Yankees 5-1, they're currently in the lead on the LA Angels, and thought that this was very interesting with the LA Angels going bold tonight. They decided to have in their starting lineup all but 3 guys hitting a .224 or lower. Not necessarily amazing and not necessarily what you're looking for there, and that's a big reason why this Angels team has been all full of volatility, in my opinion, because you just don't have a lot of guys that are able to move the line in general for the team. They were able to get Luis Renifo a nice solid base hit, so maybe that'll get them going a little bit more, but man, I have a lot of guys for this Angels team that they're able to give you the power ball, but they're also hitting right around to the Mendoza line of 200. Looking at you, Kyron Paris. Looking at you, Joe Adell. And now they signed Chris Taylor, who I remember he was awesome in like 2019 for the LA Dodgers. Too bad it's now 2025. So not looking great for the Angels right now. And if you're in on this total, you're currently sweating this one out. This close in a lot of places at a 10, which I thought was just too high in general because you just don't know what you're going to be able to get out of this Angels team. And right now, the New York Yankees are going to be able to close out a win. I've got the run line in this one, so we shall see what we're getting on that front. And we do have ourselves quite a bit of baseball that's going to be going down on this Tuesday. We've got all 30 teams in action. How about if we start breaking down the card right now, because we do have a few TBDs out there, but most of these games, they're becoming very solidified, and this is going to be the early game of the day, and I'm going to use the air quotes early because the folks over at Major League Baseball did not give us a day game. If the day ends in Y, we need a day game. I know that there's going to be people being like, oh, the ticket sales and everything like that. The amount of money that you're going to be able to generate in TV revenue and everything like that, if everyone takes their turns, you're going to be fine. So give us day baseball. Trust me, the American people want it. By the American people, I mean myself. I want it. I know that there are people on my Twitter/X feed that agree with me as well. They want it. There will be schmucks out there that will bet these games. They will very much embrace the fact that we have day baseball. So please, for the love of Pete, give us a little bit of day baseball. Don't continue to do this to us, Major League Baseball, as they love to on Tuesdays. And you've already got a lot of these teams already traveled because it was Memorial Day. So you got the day games today. So that was absolutely tremendous. But yeah, we could have used a little bit more of that, but we do have, at the very least, Edge Boost being able to have our back. And Edge Boost, they do a tremendous job making sure the bettors are able to access their funds 24/7, 365 on leap years, 366 days out of the year for all of your gambling-related transactions. They're making sure that you're able to have access to it. You're able to earn cashback rewards as you utilize Edge Boost, and there's never any usage cost. When you go to edgeboost.bet, you utilize the promo code of CASH, CASH. That gets you a dollar for dollar match on your first deposit of $25. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code CASH. And I know that our wonderful producer, Corey, he set up a little bit of this as well, because now we are at the Memorial Day marker in terms of really the first line marker that you find in Major League Baseball. A lot of times when you get to a Memorial Day, now you think, all right, this team's first 50 or so games start of the season, it's for real. Okay, we can start to decipher a little bit more in Major League Baseball. Like, we all know that the sink of the sink is the team that's currently 9-45 right now, which I don't think that the Rockies are going to be making any sort of playoff push here. So I think that we can all take a look there. But these are a few teams that are down a little bit in the division, and I'm going to give my thoughts if you have a little bit of value with them to be able to win their division, perhaps make the playoffs, or if this is something that you just flat out want to pass on. We're going to start with the Cleveland Guardians. Right now they are plus $6 to be able to win the AL Central. They're currently 4.5 games back of the Detroit Tigers. This is a nice resounding no for me. And the reason why this is a nice resounding no for me is that the Cleveland Guardians bullpen just not what it was last season. Emmanuel Clase has not been himself. He's looked a little bit better here recently, but for the Cleveland Guardians, what are you getting at the bottom of the lineup? You've got guys like a Bo Naylor, Nolan Jones, all these guys hitting below the Mendoza line of 200. You just don't have a team that I think can be able to win the Central. And frankly, the Detroit Tigers might be the best team in the American League. Like, I know that a lot of people are going to default to the New York Yankees because of that offense, but this is a team with a bullpen ERA that is number one since the All-Star break of the 2024 season. You've got yourself a really good offense with so many guys like Kerry Carpenter. You've been able to throw in there as well Spencer Torkelson. All these guys give you a double-figure amount of homers, and somehow, someway, Javi Baez has become something other than useless, which that's been really good for the team as well. So no, the Cleveland Guardians 6-1 to be able to win the AL Central. That's a no for me. We've got ourselves out there in the AL East. The Blue Jays 14-1 to be able to win that division. Until Anthony Santander hits above the Mendoza line of 200, no, that is something that I am not going to be taking a look at with them for the Blue Jays. I don't have a lot of faith in that bullpen. They're going to have Bowden Francis pitching on Tuesday, and he's become a human pitching machine. That dude was due in for regression for years, and the regression monster has eaten him whole in the last about month or so. So that's going to be a no for me. Now, here's the one that's interesting. The St. Louis Cardinals, right now, they're plus 425 to be able to win the NL Central, and I think that this is interesting because if you look at their odds to be able to make the playoffs, they're right around about plus 175, plus 180, something like that, but If you're looking to bet on the St. Louis Cardinals to be able to make the playoffs, just take them to win the division. Because I just don't see how they get past those teams out there in the NL West, in which you've got the San Francisco Giants, right now rock solid. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they're right now a game below 500. Actually, I think that they just became 500 with their win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. But, I mean, they're a rock solid team. That whoever doesn't win that division between the Phillies and the New York Mets out east, they're going to be able to get a wild card spot. I would just bet the Cardinals to be able to win the NL Central. I think that there's a good chance that they actually do so. Sonny Gray hasn't even been necessarily his best self this far this season, and for the Cubs, while this offense is very rock solid, I can't help but think that perhaps we see a little bit of regression with Pete Armstrong moving forward. Say Suzuki has been rock solid, but he's been injured throughout his career. It's a Cubs bullpen that is shaky to say the least as well. And for the Cardinals, you've got one of the best closers in all of baseball in Ryan Helsley. Now they're going to need to add a power bat at the trade deadline. When Lars Nootbaar with his 7 home runs is right now leading the way with that regard, that's a little bit tough. But you get back Ivan Herrera, who had a really nice start with regards to the Powerball to begin the season. So the Cardinals, I think that they actually have some value here at plus 425. That's something that if I'm looking at the futures market right now, that's a team that if they're outside the top 2, that would be the one team that I'd be really looking to bet right now to be able to win the division. Like even the Braves at a plus 650, are you getting terrible value? No, but at the same time, you know that out there in the NL East, that Steve Cohen, if they're anywhere even near being able to make the playoffs, that they're going to be buying at the deadline. Like he is going to put every single cent that he has into that New York Mets team. And for the Braves, they're getting healthy right now with Ronald Acuna Jr., Spencer Strider, but what are you going to be able to get out of Spencer Strider moving forward? And then you've also got the Angels, 28-1 to win the AL West. They've went 8-2 in their last 10 games. That's probably going to be 8-3 when it's all said and done in their last 11 games with the way that this Yankees team is playing right now. That's a no for me. Like, I do not want any part of this Angels bullpen. Out of 30 teams there, 30th in the big leagues. They're starting out their Jack Conowitz every 5 days. You've got a bunch of guys that can't hit above a 225 right now, so no thanks on them. But what I will say yes thanks to is being able to break down some Tuesday baseball. We've got all 30 teams in action. We've got ourselves a really good card, and we're going to start busting it down next right here on Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.